Thanks for letting me come in your studio today.
Oh, you're welcome.
We're with Bob Follett, a local artist here in Terre Haute. You've been doing this for a few years.
About 21 years.
21 years, and
Yeah.
I know that your work's very similar to Salty Seaman's. Can you tell us about that relationship that you two had?
Yeah, when I got into art, my older brother suggested I go talk to Salty Seaman because he'd been more or less a family friend for several years. And so I went up to Salty and talked to him and asked him if, I told him I had to change occupations and I wanted to become an artist. So he had me bring some work up and he looked at it and he said, well, yeah, you've got the talent. He said, just need some developing. So about every week or two, I'd take a work that I had done up to him. He would critique it for me and tell me. Yeah. So I never really got a lesson from him, but I did learn a lot, and most of it was the attitude that you have to be an artist.
Sure.
He taught me a lot about that, and so it was fun. Though it only lasted 5 years. And then when anytime I'd get real depressed over, not being able to sell my work and things like that, he'd say, well, he says, who else can do this? He said, when I leave this earth, he said, someone has to be here to take over for me. I used to emulate Salty so much on my early work.
Sure.
And he said, right now your work looks a lot like mine, but he said, you'll change and you'll develop your own style as time goes along. Well, I couldn't imagine ever changing my style, but without even realizing it, it has changed over the years. Salty worked, he was extremely fast. He could do a painting in 20 minutes.
Really?
From start to finish, and I could not ever begin to do that.
65 hours.
Yeah. And when you look at his work, it all looks very professional. But when you really start to examine it, you can see that there are no leaves on the trees. It's just brush strokes that look like shadows.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
And light and shadows. So you didn't really ever see any leaves, but I put every leaf on a tree.
Oh yeah.
And
I mean, you can.
but that's because I have a little OCD, and that helps.
How many paintings does Salty do?
Did he do?
Yeah.
I heard 3,000.
3,000.
3,000.
Over how many years?
Well, gee, from
30, 40 years.
at least that.
And you've been doing it for.
I'm
going somewhere with this.
just 20 years.
20 years, and how many do you think you've done?
Oh, maybe 40, 45.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Huh. So your goal was never to crank those paintings out that fast?
No, I couldn't.
Yeah.
I'm just not turned that way. I have to spend a lot of detail is really important to me in a painting. For instance, every one of my cards that I've done for Forest Year has a dog in it somewhere in that painting.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is that your signature deal?
I guess it is because
you have 5 dogs?
5 dogs.
5 dogs?
Yeah, right now.
So you're definitely a dog guy?
Yeah.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're rescues.
Well, the Humane Society's looking for a good fundraiser for their new thing. You ought to commission
I need a fundraiser myself.
Do you need one?
Yeah, right.
Well, maybe we could figure out a fundraiser for you.
Oh, these are all the 16 greeting cards I've done for Forest Year since 1997 when Salty passed away. Oh, that's a hotel that used to be at 3rd and Ohio Street where the bank is now. And of course that's the Miller Parrott Baking Company, which is the Lighthouse Mission today.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the old interurban too.
Right. And everybody knows Henry's.
It's changed over and over.
Henry's. Yeah. They used to have a drive-in in the back, of course. And girls would come out and serve you food. And of course, the Terre Haute house.
But you've done several versions of that, right?
No, this is the only Terre Haute house I've done.
Okay.
And this is a DX station. It was up north end of town.
McMillan is downtown?
Right, on Wabash, before they moved on 3rd Street. This is an Oakley store. No one knows where that is, but I found the photograph with Oakley's on it, and I've never been able to identify where it is. That's Chesty Food Place on 13th Street.
Right.
Kresge's used to be downtown. And then last year I did the Dresser Field,
That's something else.
which later became Cox Field.
Norman Rockwell. You knew Norman Rockwell.
I knew and got to meet Norman Rockwell. My brothers and I were called to be pose for him for the 1957 Boy Scout calendar.
Where were you living then?
And on 19th Street in Terre Haute.
So here in Terre Haute.
Oh yeah, I've lived here all my life. My dad was a representative with Brown Bigelow, and at one of the conventions one time, he got to meet all the famous artists, and he asked Norman if he could use his boys on a calendar. And my father was, he'd ask anything of anybody, you know.
Yeah.
And so he said, well, you know, send me a picture and I'll take a look at it. So he had us down to photographers the next morning getting pictures taken, sent them in. And about a month or two later, Norman Rockwell called the house and said, Monday morning, have him in Stockbridge, Massachusetts. So
Wow.
we took a train to Albany, New York, and his chauffeur picked us up in Albany and took us to the studio in Stockbridge.
How about that?
And it was great.
Now, how old would he have been then?
I'm only guessing, but well, here's
I see the picture.
he looks like he was probably in his 50s, something like 50s, maybe early 60s,
That's something else.
and he was really a personable guy.
So in the painting, does it say Terre Haute on it?
No,
Uh-oh.
that was one of the things we were very disappointed about that because
that.
we assumed it would be Terre Haute,
Right.
and he put Albany, an Albany patch on us.
How about that?
So my younger brother didn't get to participate because he didn't look old enough, but he did use the two of us.
How about that? How many people can say they've been a Norman Rockwell painting? Did that inspire you think, to do this?
It definitely did. I was been interested in art all my life.
Right.
But matter of fact, I asked him if he would critique some paintings for me. Believe it or not, he said he would, but I
How about that?
never did send him any.